Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you a couple of in-depth setups for the B site of Haven. I'll show you the setup and talk about your positioning in sight, and how you can get the most out of your setup and your utility. To be honest, this is a worse site to hold as Cypher on Haven, but you can use this setup to watch mids so you can say play with 2 people in A, 1 in Garage and 2 people in C for example. Firstly, I'll show you a setup that works if you're planning on playing within B site during the round. The best tripwire I've found is from inside this box here. It comes off at an angle and goes across the doorway. I'll then place a tripwire on one side of the door. I'll use my cage in the door if I need to slow an enemy push or if I need to block line of sight to rotate through the site. My second cage will be in the door to C site, as it's relatively common for the enemy team to push through Garage, so you may need to block the line of sight from that lane if you're playing in B to let yourself safely rotate out of a dangerous position. After the round starts, I'll place a camera on the wall and courtyard. This is behind the enemy players, so they're unlikely to notice it. If you activate the cam, try to do it when there are other noises happening, as when you activate the camera it makes a noise which the enemies can hear, so they may find it because of the noise. It's quite common for the enemies who push from mid to hide on either side of the doorway. This cam lets you see if anyone's hiding there and gives you a chance of wall banging them. If you want a setup for holding the site whilst you're helping somewhere else on the map, you have to change some of the placements. The main requirement for this type of setup is to stop the enemy team entering the site through the main door without you knowing. I'll move the camera to within the site on the front wall, as this has the least chance of being spotted by the enemies if they come into sight from mid. It gives you intel on where the enemies are hiding, and if they plant the bomb, where it is planted. I'll then use my tripwires somewhere on the front of site. I don't like to normally do this, but I'm just going to show you a few of the possible tripwire placements at the entrance to site, as you'll want to mix up the placements as much as possible to keep the enemies on their toes in this situation. I'll still use a cage in the doorway to mid, but I'll keep the other one in my pocket for later in the round. When I use this setup, I'll either be playing in the window of A site, or at the back of C site. This allows me to both safely watch my cam, and rotate quickly to B if needed. If I see an enemy on my camera, or if someone's caught in my tripwire, I'll go onto the cam again and activate the cyber cage at the front of the site. I'll then call out to my team saying that they're pushing mid. This should stall the enemy for enough time to let you and your team collapse onto site to stop their push. If you're going to be playing off site, make sure you aren't overly aggressively peeking, as this setup isn't anywhere near as effective at slowing enemy push if you can't activate the cyber cage or look at your cam to give callouts to your team. Although, at least you've got the tripwires down if your team doesn't have enough people left to watch all the sites later in the round. You can also use the cam on the back wall of site. This gives a great view of the courtyard, but I'd be very surprised if it isn't just shot instantly at the start of the round. Although, you could use this cam as bait, for you to quickly swing on someone who's in window who's aiming at the camera to get a cheeky kill. I'd say only try this once though, especially if you have to wait the 45 seconds for the camera to recharge, so only do it if you think it's worth it. Overall, if you're playing Cypher on Haven, I would strongly recommend to play on either of the other sites on the map, as you get much more use out of your utility, but it is always good to have pocket strategies for all the sites, just in case you need to mix it up. I've made in-depth Cypher setup videos for all sites in the game, so if you want to learn effective ways to hold every site in the game, please subscribe to keep up to date, and check out the playlists in the end card. If you want to learn more about Cypher, please check out this playlist which has guides on how to get the most out of him on attack. Thanks for watching!